Okay, so Genesis chapter 1 out of the way. Let's move on to Genesis chapter 2, the other chapter we wanted to look at. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and excuse me, and he rested. Um, let's see. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, and the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, and there is bdellium and onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, and that is it which goeth towards the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man, and put him into the garden of Eden, to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help meet for him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Okay, so to summarize that chapter, God created the universe a finite time ago. At some point, he created the flora and fauna on Earth. At some point, the Garden of Eden was created or planted, and God put Adam in the garden to tend it. And at some point, while Adam was in the garden, tending it and so on, God caused him to go into a deep sleep, to become unconscious, and took Adam's side, and from his side God made a woman, the first human woman. And then Adam, who had named all the animals, found his wife, Eve, the first woman, the only appropriate life partner. It was good that he, Adam, was no longer alone. So that gives you the first two chapters of Genesis. And you know, I never really got the whole two different accounts claim. I just don't see why anyone would think there was a contradiction here between those two chapters, which we've just read. The first account gives a particular order of what was created when. You know, this was created on day one, that was created on day two, and so on. And the second account gives what happened um, in a part of that creation, namely within the Garden of Eden. Chapter 2 says, quote, "You remember all that stuff God created in the last chapter? Well, some of it was in the Garden of Eden. And a wife was made for the man out of the man in Eden." The first humans were in the Garden of Eden, unquote. So there's no contradiction there that I can see. Whomever, excuse me, I've been eating peanuts and got a little bit caught in my throat there, of the little skin that goes around them. Whomever is supposed to have made up the Bible, no doubt to trick us out of our money and to control us, was apparently very foolish, but nobody would be so foolish as to write something in the first chapter and then blatantly contradict him or herself in the very next chapter. Nobody is that foolish. There has to be a better explanation for this apparent contradiction. Perhaps it is only apparent and not an actual contradiction, and as I said before, I don't even see how anyone could get a seeming contradiction out of these two chapters. So it is not, by my lights, even an apparent contradiction, never mind an actual contradiction. What is all the fuss about? And of course, I know that nobody made up the Bible as a trick. That's just the allegation of the critics that I'm addressing there. All right, so what seems to be the problem in the minds of these critics is that the order of the order in which the various animals and so on are created is different in the two chapters. But the thing is, chapter 2 does not claim to be chronological. So chapter 1 gives a chronological listing in order of what was created. Chapter 2 merely says at some point this was created. So that's there in black and white. You can check it out for yourself. The King James Version, which I was reading from, is readily available online and in the library. And you probably have a Bible, King James or otherwise, in your home library as well. So you can check this out for yourself. Chapter 2 does not claim that it is giving a chronological account. This was created first, then this was created, etc. So we'll conclude this discussion in video number 3. Shalom.